Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Eagles Latest by Fan Arch. I am your host, Blake McQueary, and of course, as always, we have stuff to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get right to. We're gonna look at breakdown players, okay? Not breakdown. We're gonna look at breakout players, okay? We're not gonna be breaking down anything. Who is going to have breakout years for the Eagles this year? Now, do I have a crystal ball that is telling me exactly what players are going to be breakout players for the Eagles? No. Do I have a good idea of who can be breakout players for the Eagles? Yes. And I'm going to give you those guys right now. First up, we have Darius Cooper. A big shout out to Darius Cooper. He is one of the guys with the most buzz surrounding who made the 53-man roster. He is undrafted out of Tarleton State. If you don't know about Cooper, he is a wide receiver, of course. So he rounds out that wide receiver room with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie, Johnny Wilson, who is on IR for this year, and now Cooper. Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is big on Cooper. I think a lot of the coaching staff with the Philadelphia Eagles are big on Cooper. Cooper is a guy who they wanted to keep around. Like, it was telling when they gave him time on special teams. They were trying to find roles to keep Cooper around, trying to fit him in different places so that he can find a spot on this roster, and that's what he's doing now. But Howie Roseman is big on him. Howie Roseman said, quote, "You just watch him and you see obviously he's not playing in the SEC, but you see that he's got talent. When he came in here, just seeing how big and strong he is. I mean, we sat with him today and he's sitting here in shorts and a t-shirt, and you're looking at him and you're going, this guy has so much developmental qualities for us, and what a great kid. Obviously, it starts now. We tell all these guys, but there's no scholarships in the NFL. They got to keep earning it, but he's done everything up to this point to earn the opportunity." Now, Cooper is a guy that obviously you can see by that quote they love his size. He's 5'11", stands at 5'11", weighs about 210 pounds. Now, like Roseman said, he's got the opportunity to show his worth in this league and for this team. I think that's what he will do. He's going to be he's an undrafted guy, all right? He's from Tarleton State. He's going to be a guy that needs to develop a little bit. It's going to get him some time, to get used to everything. But he has potential. And I just seen a video today of him running a quick hitch route and just literally snagging the ball with one hand like it was a baseball. Like, it was impressive. Very impressive. I think with Johnny Wilson out, John Mechie still adjusting, and A.J. Brown obviously dealing with that hamstring injury kind of issue, whatever you want to call it, that's going on with Brown's hamstring. His development can skyrocket this year, and I think it will. Now, we're going to move on to Jalyx Hunt, another guy that I think will have a very big impact on this Eagles team and this Eagles defense. Jalyx Hunt, if you don't know, an edge rusher for the Eagles. He has a very good body frame. Stands about 6'3", 252 pounds. He was a rookie last year who gave the Eagles very good production. He was definitely a Howie Roseman find, a third-round pick out of Houston Christian. Last year, he totaled 21 total tackles, 12 solo tackles, 9 assists, 1.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 pass deflection. I think Hunt can be a very good replacement for Josh Sweat. Obviously, Josh Sweat moving on, going to the Arizona Cardinals. I think Hunt can be the guy to come in and replace Sweat's production. I think, honestly, Hunt can even up the standard a little bit. I think he can be better than Josh Sweat. He's a guy who came into the league as a linebacker. Vic Fangio transitioned him over to an edge rusher. So that tells you right there. When you're a linebacker and you can transition into an edge rusher, you are a very, very good defensive football player. He has those skills to be an elite quarterback rusher, but he can also drop back into coverage in disguise and plays and sets, things like that, all right? Obviously opportunities where they want to disguise an edge rusher, they want to disguise a linebacker. Hunt can do that. Hunt recently spent this offseason talking to guys, as he said in an interview, like Von Miller and Max Crosby, two of the league's most perennial pass rushers in the past decade. Hunt is taking this seriously. I think Hunt is going to be the man on defense. I think he can be a very, very good piece for this Eagles defense, and he can turn into a star. Our last player that we have that we should look at for a breakout year, Will Shipley. Running back Will Shipley. He has been turning heads this offseason. Will Shipley, he stands at about 5'11", 209 pounds. My apologies. Shipley, he has good size. He really does. He really has good size. He's kind of a speedster a little bit. Can tote the rock. He's a guy who I can see having a huge year for this Eagles offense. Shipley has earned his stripes to be running back 2 behind Saquon. I think Shipley is definitely going to be running back 2 behind Saquon. He carries a ton of value. He's a back that can be a pass catcher for this offense while also being a manufactured touch guy. I think you're going to see Will Shipley a lot in plays where the running back is flaring out, running check down routes, things like that, even wheel routes. Wheel routes they might keep to Saquon a little bit. That's kind of Saquon is very good on wheel routes, but I think Shipley can also be that guy for them as a pass catcher. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year. Now, we're going to move on. Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean. I know whoever is watching is loving hearing the name Nakobe Dean. You should be. Obviously, linebacker for this group last year. He announced something on his Instagram yesterday. And he said, quote, "See y'all in week 5. Obviously, last year, Dean had a breakout year for the Eagles before suffering a season-ending injury. Dean was an absolute animal for this defense. Absolute animal. If not the best defensive player from the Eagles defense last year, he was up there. Top 3. Absolutely. 128 total tackles. 80 solo tackles, 48 assisted, 3 sacks, 4 pass deflections, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. 15 games. 15 games, and he did that. Nakobe Dean is special. Very special. Now, it even makes it better because you look at this linebacker unit that the Philadelphia Eagles have, and you just go, like, wow. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and now you're getting Nakobe Dean back in week 5. Week 5. And I'm not even going to lie. Honestly, I think week 5 is literally perfect for Nakobe Dean to come back. I think Jahad Campbell, like I've said in past episodes, Jahad Campbell is going to be a guy that is a very good piece for this defense. He is going to be a starter. Jahad Campbell is going to be a starter. And yes, he is a rookie. And yes, he's going to be very, very good. That gives him time to get comfortable, to develop. And then you get Dean back week 5. The first few weeks, obviously, you're going to see some bumps. That's what happens in the NFL. That's how it works. Usually by that 3rd or 4th week, around that territory, even week 5, that's when teams start to see themselves making their strides. They really come together and make the strides that they need to be to have an effective, good NFL season. So you get Nakobe Dean back in perfect timing. It's going to be like that linebacker group. It's the best in the NFL. The linebacker group is the best in the NFL, hands down, absolutely. There should be no worry from anybody when you talk about linebackers on the Philadelphia Eagles. There should be no worry this year. They are the best unit. They are the best linebacker unit in the NFL. Absolutely, 100%. Now, we're going to move on. Saquon Barkley. What will we see from Saquon this year? I'm just going to start this out. Why I am doing this segment is because I think a lot of people need to be enlightened a little bit. I think a lot of people need to be taken off of the Saquon high that resonated with everybody after last NFL season. Saquon's going to be very good again. Don't get me wrong. We're talking about Saquon Barkley here. Like, let's be for real. All right. NFL Offensive Player of the Year. First team All-Pro, rushing yards leader. We know that. Chasing Eric Dickerson. Almost got him. We know all of that. Okay. Saquon's going to be very, very good. Don't get me wrong. But the production, it needs to be limited just a little bit. Last year, Saquon, 2,005 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns on 345 touches. 345 touches is a lot. That is a lot. I've talked about that before. 345 touches is a lot, especially an NFL running back. That is a lot. You do not want Saquon to sustain any injury. You want to be able to have that balance to where he is obviously, Saquon's obviously going to be still effective. He's still going to be an impactful piece. He is still going to be the star that he is. It's just you want to limit the production so that you don't sustain an injury. You look at his past, obviously in New York, there were discussions to be had on if Saquon can stay healthy. Like the 2020 year, 2 games played, 2021, 13 games played, in 2023, 14 games played. That was the raising question about Saquon is like, can he stay healthy? Okay. He absolutely can stay healthy. You've seen it last year. It's just you don't want to repeat last year. 345 touches cannot happen again. It can't. It cannot. Saquon is a superhuman, but Saquon is still human at the end of the day. Like, that cannot happen. That is why it's going to be key to utilize Shipley, a guy I just talked about, and then also A.J. Dillon, the guy they got from Green Bay. Dillon, because I already talked about Shipley. We don't want to talk about Shipley anymore. We're going to talk about Dillon. Dillon is a big back. He's very useful, especially in goal line situations. And tush push. I don't think Saquon should be in it. And when the Eagles are running tush push, Saquon should not be in for that at all. Like, there's no reason for Saquon to be in for tush push, especially when you have A.J. Dillon on the roster. That should not happen. But I think you're going to see a little bit now. Like last year, it was a lot of Saquon. A lot of Saquon. All right, this year, just scale it back a little bit. All right, and I'm not talking crazy. Like, the touches can still go 300 plus. Just 345 is crazy. It's a little crazy, okay? And running backs get hit almost even when they're not touching the football, running backs get hit literally almost every play. Literally almost every play. They're up there with offensive linemen in terms of how many times somebody is getting hit so often. Like, running backs get hit a lot. They got to deliver hits a lot. They got to pick up those big backs that are coming from midfield. They got to pick up, those big defensive linemen, those edge rushers, things like that. They got to pick up on those blocks. You got to remember that. And that's also why Dillon will be very effective, is putting him in those situations. When when you're running a play where you're in heavy protection, running back is not running a route, A.J. Dillon should be in. Hands down, 100%. Like I said, Saquon, he's going to be great. Just scale the production back a little bit. That's all. That is all. Saquon is still going to be great, though. Don't get that twisted, okay? Saquon is still going to be Saquon. He's going to be a great back. It's just you have the assets on the roster now to pick and plug where you want these guys to go. All right, Saquon is obviously your guy. That's no doubt. Your number one running back. He is going to take almost 90% of the touches. We know that. Will Shipley now is a guy you can put in on pass catching, routes that, check downs, maybe some wheels, things like that. some hook routes. Dylan is going to be a guy, goal line use, tush push, protection. That is how you trying to find the right word here to use. That is how you preserve the body of Saquon Barkley, is that right there. Now, we're going to move on. Our last, Howie Roseman. He made some comments about the 53-man roster. Obviously, the 53-man roster got completed yesterday. But Howie Roseman had something to say. Quote, I would say this. I would say we're not done here. We're not done. We'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. We've got a lot of 2026 NFL draft picks here, and we're happy to use those picks in the draft. But I think for us, the early part of the season, September, we've got to see what we have. If we need something, I'll do whatever I can to help this football team and be aggressive and give that opportunity to do that. And so I don't think that we're done. This is a work in progress. I said it on yesterday's podcast. Micah Parsons. Obviously, it is a reach. It is a stretch. Problems are with that situation. One, there's no way Dallas doesn't get that situation resolved. Let's just get that out the way. I don't think Dallas is going to go into the NFL season without paying Micah Parsons. I don't think that's going to happen. They also likely won't trade him in division, especially if it is the Eagles. If Howie Roseman were to call, that asking price would be a lot. It's in division. It's the Eagles. Now, you never want to count out Howie the Houdini. You don't want to count out Howie the Houdini. You don't want to do it. Now, I think what is a very realistic prediction, trading for a cornerback. I think that's very highly likely. Very highly likely. We know that position battle hasn't been the best all summer. We know that they are still a big question mark at quarterback number 2. They don't know who's starting on the other side of Quinyon Mitchell. Now, who are guys that they could go get? Obviously, you're not going to get a star guy. That's not going to happen. Cornerbacks are becoming way more valuable as the years go on. But there's some good guys that you can go and get that has, that can give you good production, very good production. One guy that comes to mind is Tyson Campbell, Jacksonville Jaguars. Campbell, he is a guy in 2022, an 80.7 PFF coverage grade. That was ranked 7th. And his advanced coverage grade placed 4th. How he is a guy, he's battled some injuries. That's not good. But he can be a very high talent in the NFL. I think Tyson Campbell is a guy, one that you look at. I think Jordan Lewis, another guy with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a seasoned vet, a guy who's been around. He was a Dallas Cowboy at one point, drafted out of Michigan. I think it's going to be his first year in Jacksonville. He's coming off his best year of his career. He had a 78.2 PFF coverage grade. He ranked 8th in PFF advanced coverage in 2024. He's had a little up and down career. He's been in the slot, things like that, playing out of the slot. But Jordan Lewis is a guy that I think could be very high valued in a trade. 100%. Now, 2 guys from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Keep an eye out for that. Why? Why do I say those 2 guys? Because they also have Travis Hunter on roster, the Heisman Trophy winner. Okay? There's only enough spots for cornerback. Okay? Now, Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis, those are 2 guys that I really think could be trade assets for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to give one more guy, and I'm going to go Lenore. I'm going to go Demadre Lenore from the San Francisco 49ers. The reason I think this is more of a reach, Lenore is kind of their guy in San Fran. He has been a guy who has proven his worth in the NFL. He has been a guy who has been a very strong anchor for that defense. But I think it could be a potential trade asset for the Eagles. Lenore, his first 2 NFL seasons, he wasn't great. But his 2023 season, we've seen a very big leap. A 74.2 PFF coverage mark and a 9th ranked PFF advanced coverage grade. I think those are 3 guys you look at for the Eagles that they could go get at cornerback. Obviously, that position still unanswered. I said it in yesterday's podcast. I think it'll be Adoree Jackson. I think that's who you will see. But how long is the production going to be there all season long? I don't know. Howie obviously still keeping his eyes out for a trade. I wouldn't be surprised if they go get a cornerback to improve that defense and improve that cornerback room. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay up to date with Eagles Latest by Fan Arch.